Namaskar students. So in previous lecture we have learned the multipole expansion of localized. If current is localized, then we have did the multipole expansion, and we have seen that there is a monopole term is vanishing because divergence of B is equal to 0, but dipole term is dominating, and then we have calculated the vector potential due to dipole and then magnetic field due to dipole. In spherical polar coordinate I have written in terms of theta and r, and then we have solved few numerical problems based on the dipole, means magnetic dipole due to rotating sphere, spherical shell, circular current, and some sort of this kind of problem we have solved. So in this lecture we will try to learn forces and torque on magnetic dipole. Forces and torque on magnetic dipole. Since we are learning magnetic dipole, so it is necessary, means to understand if there are two dipoles or one dipoles, or there are so many dipoles, or there is dipole, then how much force and how much torque will appear on the magnetic dipoles. So this lecture, some of the part of this lecture, means one can see I have taken from this Feynman lectures, the Feynman lectures on physics, that is volume 2, Feynman and Lincoln and Sands. So very few parts, and some few parts from the introduction to electronics by David J. Griffith. So this the Feynman lectures on physics, that is very nice book. If you want to have a thorough understanding on the electricity and magnetism, please go to this book. And but obviously we are referring this book, Introduction to Electrodynamics by David J. Griffith. So this book is very nice if you understand, if you are able to understand, and if you are able to solve the problems of the Griffith. So that means that will give the broader, deeper understanding on electricity and magnetism. So let us start the today's topic. So in today's topic, so we will try to learn, that is the forces and torque and forces on the magnetic dipole. So if you see here, if you see any material, let us say, I have assumed a material. So material is made of atoms, and in every atom there is a nucleus and there is electrons which is revolving around the nucleus. An electron is also spinning its own axis. So in previous lectures we have learned that if means when electron is revolving around the nucleus, that is moving in a circular path, so we know that that electron motion will contribute a circular current. So we know that circular current behave like a magnetic dipole. And similarly, if electron is spinning, since electron shape is a spherical shape, so because of the spin of the electron there will be a magnetic moment. So we have calculated the magnetic moment due to a rotating or spinning spheres. So that means in any material, the magnetic intrinsic, the property of the magnetization, that is the intrinsic property of, that is magnetic property of the materials, comes from the revolution of the electron around the nucleus and the spin of the electron around its own axis. So that means that is the intrinsic property of a material, that is the magnetic property. So that is why the magnetism has come into the material. So if you consider as a whole material, so obviously material is composed of large number of atoms, and then means there will be large number of dipoles. So let us say I have assumed a material, and here I have assumed for simplicity, let us assume that the dipole is in rectangular shape. If you see whole material, so this is rectangular shape, this is another dipole, another dipole, another dipole. So this dipole, this dipole, this dipole, and this dipole, this dipole, this. These are so many dipoles are present to the material. If you see the inner sides of means a rectangular dipole, inner sides of the rectangular dipole, let us say this side. If you see this side, the current is flowing in up direction, and the neighboring dipole current is flowing in the down direction. So this dipole and this dipole will cancel out. This magnetic will be cancelled out. Similarly, this is in up direction, this is down direction, they will cancel out. This is in up direction, this is down direction, so they will cancel out. So if you see this side of the dipole is remaining, this side of the dipole is remaining, and this side of the dipole and this side of the remaining. It means the magnetic dipole means the rectangular dipole. The inner side of the dipole will contribute 0. Current will contribute 0, but the outer side of the which are close to the interface, a boundary, they will contribute a current, so that will give the total current in magnetic material, that is I. And because of this current, if there is a current, steady current, so there will be magnetic field into the material, magnetic property into the material. So for simplicity, let us assume that a rectangular shape, okay, in which current I is flowing. So let us say this side of this rectangle is A and this is the B, okay, and this rectangular dipole is kept on a Cartesian coordinate, okay, and it is making an angle, okay, and because of this dipole there will be a because of this rectangular current there will be a dipole. Let us say dipole is making an angle theta with respect to the z axis. So this is the magnetic direction of magnetic dipole, and this is the angle making with the z axis, okay. So if this is dipole there, and let us say magnetic field, because of the dipole, that is in uniform magnetic field is present there, and this uniform magnetic field is along the z axis. So this magnetic field may be uniform and this magnetic field may be non-uniform. If the magnetic field is uniform, it is along on the z axis. So if we try to understand the how much force will act on the dipole, means that is on rectangular dipole, magnetic dipole. If you see here, so this is the side, this is the current, this is the side 1, let us say, and this is side 2, and this is side 3, and this is side 4. Current is flowing in this direction, then we can calculate how much force will be acting on this dipole. If magnetic field is in z direction, current is flowing, let us say, in x direction, current is flowing in x direction, magnetic field in z direction. Obviously from we know that ILB, that force on the a current carrying loop, that is magnetic force, that is equal to IL cross B. So here displacement vector is along the x axis and magnetic field is along the z axis. Obviously force will be along the y axis, so there will be, therefore force F1 will be acting along the y axis. Similarly for the, let us say, second side of the rectangle, obviously here magnetic field is along the z axis and current is flowing along the x axis, along the x, but in opposite direction. So current is flowing minus x unit vector along the minus x direction, okay. Obviously force will be along the y direction, because the side, this length of the rectangular, this side and this side, that is equal, the force will be equal but opposite direction. So that is therefore, so this force and this force will be equal in magnitude but in opposite direction, so they will cancel each other, means they will try to repel each other. So we know that current is flowing in anti-parallel current, they are repel each other, we have learned earlier also. So यहाँ पे what will happen कि this करंट इधर इस डायरेक्शन में फ्लो हो रहा है, इधर करंट इस डायरेक्शन में फ्लो हो रहा है, तो इधर फोर्स इधर जाएगा, इधर फोर्स इधर लगेगा, तो दोनों एक दूसरे को रिपल करने की कोशिश करेंगे, ओके. सिमिलरली इफ यू सी फॉर फेज 3 एंड फेज 4, साइड 3 एंड साइड 4, तो मैग्नेटिक फोर्स विल बी अलॉन्ग द F3 डायरेक्शन, फॉर साइड 3 along the x direction, and similarly this force on side 4, that will be along the minus x direction, minus x unit vector direction. So they will again repel each other, because here current is flowing in this direction, here current is flowing in this direction. So that means each facing side of the rectangles will feel a force, magnetic force, and repel to each other. So this means if you try to calculate the net force on the rectangular dipole, so the net force will be equal to 0. Okay, obviously this net force will be equal to 0 on the rectangular shape. So let us try to calculate the how much force will be there and how much torque will be there on the this rectangular dipole. So as I have described here in this lecture, so for let us say if uniform magnetic field is present, then we can write from Lorentz force, F magnetic is equal to integral I dl cross B vector, dl vector and cross product with B vector, dl vector. If you see for side 1 and for side 2, dl vector is along, for side 1 dl vector is along the x direction, x unit vector, and B vector is along z direction. So here I have calculated. So and then for side 2 we have seen that this dl vector and B vector, obviously, and here if you see they are perpendicular, dl vector and B vector, this is z direction and this is x direction, so they are perpendicular. But here for side 2, this dl vector and current basically dl vector in along minus x unit vector, and this B is along the z direction, they are perpendicular but here in opposite direction. That is why if you calculate the force on the side 1 and side 2, so that force will come, that is F1, that is for side 1 I dl x unit vector cross product B z unit vector. So obviously x cross z, that will give the minus y unit vector. So I integral dl B, that is equal to minus y unit vector. So F1 will be equal to I and B, that is magnetic field, and that is integral dl, that will give the length of the side. So length of the side we have assumed that is B. So this is the length of the side, that is B. So this will give, so that is I B capital B into small b into minus y unit vector. That means force on the side 1 will be equal to the minus y direction, that means opposite to the y direction. Okay. Similarly, if you calculate force on the second phase, so obviously, so that will be F2 is equal to, we can integral I dl cross dl vector cross product B vector, so that will be obviously I B capital B into small b into y unit vector, because here dl will be along the minus x unit vector, so this minus plus will be there. So this means force on the second side of the rectangle, that is will be plus, that is I B capital B into small b into y unit vector. That means force F1 and F2 are equal but in opposite direction, so they will cancel each other. Okay, so that means force will be cancelling each other. Now if we try to calculate the force F3 and F4 on side 3 and 4, and they will be also equal but in opposite direction. So if you write F3 and F4 magnitude, that will be equal to I into capital B into length of the side, that is A. So I B into A. So that is the force magnitude of the force, but they are acting in opposite direction. That therefore the net force we try to calculate on the loop, that is rectangular loop, so that net F net is equal to F1 plus F2 plus F3 plus F4. So obviously we calculated F1 is equal to minus I B capital B into small b y unit vector. F2 we have calculated, that is plus I capital B into small b into y unit vector. Similarly F3 if you calculate, so that will be I into capital B into small a into x unit vector, that along the x direction, positive x direction, and F4 that will be minus I capital B into small a into y into x unit vector, that is along the minus x direction. So this will be cancelled out. The net force on the dipole, any dipole, net force on a dipole in uniform magnetic field, that will be equal to 0. So that means if any dipole is present in a uniform magnetic field, then one can say that the net force on the magnetic dipole will be equal to 0. Okay. However, remember यहाँ पे net force 0 हो रहा है, लेकिन there will be there will be a net torque on the loop, but there will be a net torque on the loop. How it will be there? If we try to calculate the torque, so what we have learned till, if a magnetic dipole is present in a uniform magnetic field, there will be no net force acting on the dipole, but there will be a net torque on the loop. How it is? Let us assume that this is the z axis and this is y axis, and obviously this is x axis, and this is the direction of magnetic dipole, which is making an angle theta with respect to the z axis, and similarly with respect to the that is this side of the dipole is making theta with respect to the y angle. Okay. If you consider the rectangular dipole, okay, so this was the phase 1 and here it was the phase 2. If you see here, so something it was phase 1 here, okay, and it was phase 2 here, something like that, and then it was phase 4 here, okay, and this is the phase 1, and this was the phase 2, and this was the phase 3, side 3, and this was the side 4, something like that it was there. So we have learned that on side 1 there will be a force, that is F1, which will be acting along the minus y direction. So this is minus y direction, and there will be a force on side 2 which will be acting along the plus y direction. Okay. So this kind of force will be acting on this face also, and this is for the side 3, and similarly for side 4, similarly for side 1 and for side 2. For each faces it will be each side it will be similar kind of force will be there. Okay. So if you see here, for let us consider this one face of the rectangular side, that is let us say side 3, that is of length A. So this F1 is because of the force because of the side 1, which is acting at the corner, at the joint point of the side 1 and side 3. So this is F1, and this is the force F2 along the y direction. If you consider this length of the side, this length of the rectangular, okay, so there is one force because of this side 2, so that is working along this direction, and there is another force F1 because of the side 1, which is working along the plus y direction. So that is, if you see here, so because of this, that is working along the plus y direction. So this means these forces at the termination point of the, because they are equal and opposite, so net force will be equal to 0, but this force will work on this side. Okay. So what will happen if you see these forces are equal and opposite direction, so this will work as a couple. So these forces are behaving like a couple. So what they will try to do, this force and this, because this side is making an angle theta with respect to the y axis because of this dipole moment. So this force F1 and F2, this couple force means there will be a torque acting on this side, and this torque will try to make it in equilibrium along the axis. Okay, along the equilibrium axis. So that is why torque will be there on the magnetic dipole. So how much torque will be there? We can define N, that is torque N vector is equal to R cross F. If you see here, where R is, if you see here A, R is basically the length of this side. So this is length of the side. Okay, and F is the force which is acting on the, okay, on the, let us say, couple force. So if you see R cross F, so we know that F, if you take the R is equal to A and F is equal to, we know that is, if you take the, we know, we have calculated already, the F is equal to I B, capital B into small b, but they are making a cross product, so that R into, that means R into F into sine theta. So because this torque will be perpendicular to the R and F. If you see here, this R, that means side A is along the some direction, and this F force is along the y direction. Obviously this will be along some z direction. So because this dipole is making an angle theta with the z direction, so this means and therefore, so this R cross F, that will be always perpendicular, means this N will be always perpendicular to the R and F. So therefore, if you try to find out the direction of F, that will be along the x unit vector direction. Okay, so n vector will be equal to a into f sine theta x unit vector, or if you substitute, because all are the 90 degree, where magnitude of the force is equal to I b into b, we have already calculated. So the n vector will be equal to I small a small b capital B sine theta x unit vector. So this is the torque which is acting on the side A. Okay, so if now we come to know the torque, so we know how much magnetic dipole is due to the rectangular loop. So we know that magnetic moment vector, that m vector is equal to I into area vector. I is the current which is flowing into the rectangle, so we know that. So and A is the area of the rectangular is how much, that is the A into B, small a side and this B side, that is area. So magnetic moment will be equal to I into AB. Okay, so if you write the torque in terms of magnetic dipole moment, so the torque will be equal to, that is how much, small m capital B sine theta x unit vector. So this will be the torque on the dipole. Okay, so if you go back, so what we have obtained, that torque is equal to mb sine theta. So this mb sine theta can be written as a cross product. Okay, so in next lecture, in next page, if you see that n vector can be written as a m cross b, small m, where m is the dipole moment vector and b is the magnetic field. So this torque n vector is equal to m cross b. If you go back, recall my lecture on the electrostatic in case of dielectric material, so there was the electric dipole. In case of electric dipole also, if uniform electric field is present, then there will be no net force on the electric dipole, but there will be a net torque on the dipole, and the torque was that was equal to, if you see, so the torque was equal to, so this much. So that was this torque. So I have written here. So that was this one. Okay, so it means this magnetic torque on a magnetic dipole moment and torque on electric dipole moments, they are analogy, means electrostatic and magnetostatic are moving parallel to each other. Okay, so this equation gives exact torque on any localized current distribution in presence of a uniform magnetic field. Okay, and because of this torque, we have seen that paramagnetic properties of the material comes because of this torque. Because if you see in a paramagnetic material, there are large number of dipoles are there, but they are randomly oriented dipoles. When we apply the magnetic field, then this torque act on those dipole. Okay, then this torque act on those dipole, and this torque will try to align into the direction of magnetic field. So this, if you see this when this n will be equal to 0, means torque will be equal to 0 when this B will be equal to 0, or m equal to 0, or sine theta is equal to, means if this sine theta become equal to 0, if this theta becomes equal to 0, then this implies that this total torque will be equal to 0. So this n will be equal to 0. Okay, that means this torque which is acting on the dipole, this will try to align the dipole into the direction of, and if theta is equal to 0, this means this dipole aligns into the direction of magnetic field. So this torque will try to align all dipoles into the direction of magnetic field. Okay, so this torque will be acting till all the magnetic dipoles, whatever dipoles are present into magnetic field, they will align into the direction of magnetic field, and this property accounts to the paramagnetic property into the material. So this is because of the this property, because of torque which is acting on the dipole. Okay, since every electron constitutes a magnetic dipole within a material. Now let us assume that if the magnetic field is not uniform, so whatever we have learned, that is the uniform magnetic field. And we can consider if magnetic field is not uniform, and this non-uniform magnetic field can be generated. Let us say we have a solenoid, okay, and we can generate this within the solenoid we know that uniform magnetic field is there, strong uniform axial magnetic field is there, but outside of the, let us say, solenoid, if you keep a circular loop, so that is behaving like a dipole, and then outside of the solenoid, so this magnetic field will be non-uniform. Then we can see that magnetic dipole, because circular dipole behave like a dipole, so this circular dipole will be present into the non-uniform magnetic field. This is an example. Okay, so let us assume that if torque is present in a non-uniform magnetic field, then what will happen, how much force and how much torque will be there. So we have learned in previous part, in case of uniform magnetic field, there is no net force on the dipole, but there is a net torque on the dipole, and this torque will try to align all the magnetic dipoles into the direction of magnetic field. And therefore you may have observed, you may have did some experiment, that when a paramagnetic material is placed in a magnetic field, all the dipoles tends to align into the direction of magnetic field. So that is why when magnetic field is applied in a paramagnetic material, that paramagnetic material shows magnetization, and when you remove the magnetic field, and again all the aligned dipole, they will move into the random direction, they will regain their original position, the paramagnetism vanishes because of the thermal fluctuations. So let us say we have a non-uniform magnetic field. So how much force will be, the torque will be the same whether magnetic field is uniform or magnetic field is non-uniform. The amount of torque, that N will be equal to always, N vector will be always equal to R cross F. Okay. But in case of non-uniform magnetic field, the net force on the dipole, that will be not equal to 0 here. The force will be not equal to 0 in case of non-uniform magnetic field. Remember, and we will try to calculate how it is. Let us assume that we have a circular square loop here of side A, which is placed on a Cartesian coordinate x, y, z, and this square loop is placed on a yz plane. Okay, and current is flowing along the wire. Then in case of non-uniform magnetic field, we can write the force, that is Lorentz force, that magnetic force, that is equal to I into integral dl vector cross b vector. Okay, here b is not uniform. In previous case b was uniform, but here b is not uniform. Okay, then we can calculate for each side, let us say df for one, df magnetic force, and this magnetic force for this side, magnetic force for this side, magnetic force for this side, and if we sum up, then that will give the total magnetic force. Okay, so that's what I am going to do. If you do that, so if you see here, for let us say this side, okay, if you see for this side, the length of the side is a, obviously if you see dl vector, that's displacement vector. So displacement vector is along the, current is along the this direction, y direction, the displacement vector dl vector will be along the plus y direction. That is why I have written dy unit vector. So df is equal to, let us say for side 1, that is I into integral, that is dy y unit vector cross product with b vector. If you see magnetic field, because magnetic field is not uniform, so we can, we choose y is equal to some coordinate y. Okay, so that is cross b into 0 y. 0 means magnetic field is present into only y direction and not in x direction. Okay, other component is 0. So this dy y unit vector cross product b vector. Okay, plus let us say for this side, we know that displacement vector for this side, that is along the z direction dz, z unit vector, and magnetic field, let us say now we have reached at a position, means y is equal to a. Here y was not defined, here it may change. Why I have taken y here, because here y is equal to 0, but here y is equal to a. So this magnetic field will change from 0 to a. That is why I have taken as y. But at this place, if you see, x is equal to 0, but y is equal to a, and this z is changing. This means magnetic field may change along the z direction. Okay, So that is why dz z unit vector cross product b vector 0 a z. Okay. Similarly, if you go for this side, here this displacement vector will be along the minus y unit vector, because this is y unit vector, and obviously this magnetic field will be equal to, now we have moved a and a, so x is equal to 0 and y is equal to y and z is equal to a. So that is minus dy y unit vector cross product b 0 y into a, plus if you see for this side, so that is in z direction but opposite, so minus dz z unit vector cross product x is equal to 0, y is equal to, here that is x is equal to 0, y is equal to 0, but z is equal to z, so that b 0 0 0 z. Okay. Now if we are able to find out this magnetic field, this magnetic field, this magnetic field, and this magnetic field, and this magnetic field, then we can calculate the force on each sides, and if, because since we are adding up this force, so that will give the net force on the dipole. So if you try to find out the forces, so this will give, let us say here, so that will df is equal to I dy y unit vector cross product b vector 0 y 0 plus this one and this one, again I have written same thing, so that is this become minus, this plus sign become minus, and here this plus sign become minus, so that is why I have written that is minus and minus. If you see this quantity and this quantity, means this quantity and this quantity, अगर आप इसको देखें, if you see, so dy y unit vector and here dy y unit vector, this means this quantity is same, okay, but magnetic field is different. Then therefore we can write, let us taking minus dy y unit vector as a common, so minus dy y unit vector cross product we can write b0 y a minus b0 b 0 y 0. Okay, so that means that is giving the magnetic field gradient, so this is giving the magnetic field, change in magnetic field. Okay, and similarly if you see this value and this value, so this dz z unit vector is common, so I have taken dz z unit vector as a common, cross product, so this will give b at 0 a z minus b at 0 0 z position, so that is the df vector. Now we can find out this magnetic field by using the Taylor series expansion. Maybe you have learned this Taylor series expansion in your mathematical physics class. So if you do the Taylor series expansion, so what you will get, that is b vector is equal to, let us say that is b 0 a z, b because x is equal to 0, y is equal to a, z is equal to, let us say, z. So this can be done for the y component. Similarly we can do for the z component also. If we change that, let us say for z, for y, so this will be 0 y and here a, so that will be for the y component. So this is for, this is we are calculating for the 0 a z position, and similarly we can calculate 0 y z 0 y a position. Okay, so this will do, so that b 0 0 z plus a del over b upon del y at the 0 0 z position. This is the Taylor series expansion. So in Taylor series expansion, if you see what we have to find out here in our expression, we have to find out b at 0 y a minus b at 0 y 0 position. Or if you see here, so this is second position, that is b 0 a z minus b 0 0 z position. If you see here, so if you see this quantity, so this is b 0 a z position minus equal to b 0 0 z. So if you subtract this quantity b 0 a z minus b 0 0 z, so that will give a del b upon del y at 0 0 z position. So that means in place of this quantity, that means in place of that means sorry, that means in place of this quantity, in place of this quantity, we can substitute this quantity, that is this quantity. Okay, so this quantity can be substituted in place of this quantity. So similarly for in place of this quantity also, if you do the same thing, so in place of this quantity also, in place of this quantity we can substitute A del B upon del Z at 0 y 0 position. So that I have done on next page. If you see, so that is the, see here, so next page if you go, so that is, so for similarly for B 0 y comma A minus B 0 y 0 is equal to A, that is del B upon del Z at 0 y 0. So this will be the, so after substituting those two value we can find out df is equal to, okay, what we are doing, what I am doing, I am doing this thing, that I am substituting in place of what I am doing, let us see again, I am in place of this quantity, okay, this quantity I am substituting this quantity, so that is this one. Similarly, in place of this quantity I have to substitute what is written in next page, you will see, okay. So if you see in next page, so that is this one, that is A del B upon del Z at 0 0 y. How I did? By using the Taylor series expansion. I hope you understood my points. Therefore, if you write the df, that is equal to I minus dy y unit vector cross product, in place of that quantity, in place of this quantity, we are substituting this quantity, that is A del B upon del Z, plus similarly del dz z unit vector, in place of that quantity, that is A del B upon del y, okay. So that what we will get. Now if you see again df, so this df will be equal to IA. If you see here, this y unit vector can be taken outside, so y unit vector and this dy is a scalar, so this dy can be multiplied with this quantity, the dy del B vector upon del Z, plus again z unit vector, here z unit vector is and dz is scalar, cross product dz and del B vector upon del By, okay. The total magnetic force on the square loop in presence of non-uniform magnetic field, that can be written as a, that integral df. If you do the integral of this above quantity, what will get? We will get, so I am taking this positive quantity first, so EF is equal to I into A is also common everywhere, A was also common, so here if you see A is common, so that I have taken IA into common, so I into A Z cross, so this now if you do integral, so what will get? IA Z cross integral dz del B upon del B upon del Y minus y unit vector cross product integral dy del B upon del Z. Now if you do the integral of this quantity and integral of this quantity, if you do the integral of this quantity, so that will give the this quantity, that is integral dz, okay. Integral dz means this dz integral run from 0 to a, that will give the a. So this value of integral that will come, so this will be equal to a del B vector upon del y at 0 0 position, means at the origin. Similarly, integral of this quantity, this value, that will give the a del B upon del y at 0 0. So it means in place of integral dz, in place of integral dy, we can, this value we can substitute this value a and a, this quantity. If you put that, what will get? Again a is there, so this a will be taken out common, so that IA square will be there. I is a square z unit vector cross product del B upon del y minus y unit vector cross product del B upon del Z. So this will be observed. So what will observe? So that is this will be observed. यहाँ कैसे लिया हम? How I have taken this a will be multiplied by here, and in place of this value means what I am saying. So that is in place of this whole quantity, this quantity, I will substitute this quantity, okay, and in place of this quantity, and I will substitute this quantity, okay. If you do that, what will get? Z unit vector cross a, and I have taken a common, so that is why this become IA square del B upon del y. Similarly here minus y unit vector cross product del B upon del Z, okay, that will get. So we have already defined that magnetic, if you try to calculate the magnetic dipole moment of square loop, so we know that magnetic dipole moment is equal to I into area. So if you see the I into area, so I have written I area of the square, that is a square, I into a square, so that is the magnetic dipole moment magnitude, that m is equal to I into a square. If you see the direction of magnetic dipole moment, that m vector, that circular this square loop was kept in a yz plane. Obviously area vector, this magnetic dipole moment, yeah, area vector will be along the x unit vector direction. That means magnetic dipole moment will be along the x unit vector. That means m vector will be equal to ia square x unit vector or m x unit vector. Okay, then we can find out the magnetic total magnetic force in non-uniform magnetic field. F is equal to m. So in order to do that, what we have to do, we have to take the cross product. Na? So cross product, in order to find out the cross product, what we can take, we can take a determinant, that is x unit vector, y unit vector, z unit vector, and z unit vector some component if you see, that is x unit vector 0, y unit vector 0, and z unit vector 1. And this del b upon del y, that is del b upon del x upon del y, del by upon del y, del bz upon del y. So that we have kept the component of this b component magnetic field. Similarly, if you do for this minus y, so that x unit vector, y unit vector, z unit vector, so x and z is equal to 0 and y unit vector is equal to 1, and this del b, so b component will put that bx, by, bz, so that is del bx upon del z, del b upon del by, del bz upon del z. Okay, if you do the calculation, if you do the cross product, so what we will get, that is m del bx upon del y, yeah, y unit vector minus del by upon del y, x unit vector minus del bz upon del z, x unit vector plus del bx upon del z, z unit vector. If you see there, this is x component and these are the y component. So these are two x component, these are two y component. If you keep this, and again what we can do, we know that from the Gauss law of magnetism, del b is equal to 0. That means divergence of b is equal to 0. So if you take the divergence, so del upon del x, bx, del upon del, here it should be y. So remember, so this will be y. So here this should be y. Okay. So del bx upon del x, del by upon del y plus del bz upon del z is equal to 0. Okay. So from here, if you see, so this is x component, so we can find out the y and z component. So we can find out del b upon del y, del b upon del y, del by upon del y plus del bz upon z equal to minus del bx upon del x. Okay. So if you do see the above part and this part, so what we can do, so I have taken x unit vector common, so what we can write, f is equal to m minus del b, here minus sign I have taken common, so minus del by upon del y plus del bz upon del z, x unit vector I have taken common, and this quantity is equal to, if you see, I have calculated this quantity is equal to, this quantity is equal to this much. Okay, this much. So that can be written as minus del bx upon del x plus again remaining these two was remaining, so this quantity was remaining and this quantity was remaining, so that I have kept del bx upon del y, y unit vector plus del bx upon del z, z unit vector. Okay. So if you put again, if you try to find out, if substitute the value, what we will get, so f is equal to m del bx upon x, x unit vector, in place of this I have substituted this quantity, plus del bx upon del y, y unit vector plus del bx upon del z, z unit vector. Okay, and we know that magnetic moment m, this magnetic moment, this is magnitude, so this is equal to m x unit vector. Okay, and b vector, if you write, if you see here b vector, so that what we have written, b vector, that is del bx upon del x, x unit vector, del bx x upon y, del y unit vector, and del y unit vector plus del b x upon del z, z unit vector. So this, let us say this is, I have just written at b component. Okay, so if you multiply this m with del b, this is m magnetic dipole moment in x direction, and this is x unit vector, this is y unit vector, and this is z unit vector. So if you this x unit vector, when we will multiply with this quantity, this m, when this m will multiply with this quantity, so only this x unit vector and x unit vector will survive, means this quantity will survive and other quantity will become equal to 0. So that's why I have done. If you do that m del bx upon del x, what we can write, in place of m del bx upon del x, we can write m delta del, that is del operator for bx component, means only del upon del x, bx component will survive, other component will be 0. That means this force on a torque, force on a magnetic dipole in a non-uniform magnetic field, that can be written as m del operator on bx component. Okay, yeah, m dot del b we can write, or we can write del operator m dot b, that is equal to force. So this is very very important result. So this result is very important. Okay, so this result is very very important result. So this result, that is this one. Or if you compare this result with the electrostatic one, what we have got, magnetic force means force on a dipole when it is placed in a non-uniform magnetic field, that can be written as F vector is equal to del operator dot magnetic dipole moment with magnetic field vector B, m del operator with m dot B vector. Okay, if you compare, so this is force on a magnetic dipole in a non-uniform magnetic field. If you compare this result with the electrostatic, the force on a electric dipole in a non-uniform electric field, so that was equal to, if you remember, so that was F is equal to del operator dot into P dot E vector. So that was force on electric dipole in non-uniform. So this force on a dipole in a non-uniform magnetic field and force on a electric dipole in a non-uniform electric field, both are analogy, means both are moving parallel. Okay, so in this lecture we have tried to understand, try to calculate the magnetic force and torque on a electric magnetic dipole when placed in a uniform magnetic field in a non-uniform magnetic field. So we have seen that if magnetic dipole is placed in a uniform magnetic field, then there will be no net force on the dipole. There will be no net force on the dipole, but when this torque is, but there will be a torque on the dipole. The torque we have calculated, that is N is equal to R cross F, and then we have calculated N is equal to M cross B. Okay, then we have calculated if magnetic dipole is placed in a non-uniform magnetic field, then there will be net force on the magnetic dipole, that is equal to F is equal to del in bracket M vector dot B vector. So that is the analogy with the electric dipole moments in a non-uniform magnetic field. So thank you very much for listening me, and if you have any doubt, any query, please feel free to contact me. Okay, thanking you very much for listening.